What's up, Victoria? It's Victoria, and today we're going to do something a little bit different on my channel, something that I've either not done in a while or maybe ever on my channel, and we're going to talk about a product launch that I got in PR, and that's the whole video. That's all cool. It's all we're going to do. And let me show you this PR package I got. Trixie Cosmetics sent me over the entire Teletubby collection, which I think is too cute. We're going to put as much of it on my face today as we possibly can. If you happen to be new to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers and I'm trying to hit it by the end of June so that during this Pride Month, I could have 10K subscribers. So if you want to make my dream come true, hit the subscribe button down below. But I also make great content and you deserve to have that in your subscription feed. Like I said, this is not something I normally do and probably something that I'm not going to do often. As we proceed through this video, it's not really to entice you to buy this makeup collection. This is really just kind of about having fun because I feel like that's what this collection really inspires. There's no way to like affiliate link through Trixie Cosmetics. So like if you do decide to buy this collection, I don't like make any kind of commission. This is literally just a video for fun. So we're going to do some fun makeup that's not my usual style because you really literally can't with this makeup collection. I'm going to be as detailed as I can in case you do happen to be watching this to get information. Let's start with this brush collection. The collection has 4 different brushes. So we have the TT16 micro pointed liner brush, the TT22 large packer brush, the TT30 round blending brush, and the TT11 blush brush. To be fully transparent with you, I didn't watch the Teletubbies growing up. I don't know if it came out when I was like a little too old. I don't know. I don't remember watching the Teletubbies. I have no relationship with them. But one thing I do want to say is that I really appreciate about the Teletubbies, or like the parent company that owns the Teletubbies, is that they seem to be very LGBTQIA friendly. There was that whole thing with the purse that happened. The one carries a purse and it was like a talking point on conservative media, which is like crazy. Like that's just literally so crazy. But there are a lot of like cute little details. If you've never noticed, the Teletubbies have like antennae and they're different shapes. So at the bottom of the brushes, they are the shape that goes with the color Teletubby. Like I said, I don't know a lot about the Teletubbies, but I think that those details are very cute. One thing that I really like about Trixie Cosmetics, and yes, I did receive this in PR, but like I do appreciate the like kitschy cutesiness of it. I really do. But also I have been learning over the last couple of months that they make some really high performing products. I have the bronzer on today. I really love the bronzer. I bought this months ago. If you want to see my other thoughts on Trixie products, I have a first impressions video of Trixie Cosmetics, but this was like by far and away like the standout product I've tried from Trixie Cosmetics. This cream bronzer is like, it's the moment. It's the whole moment. I love it. It is the best cream bronzer I've tried. I've tried luxury formulas. I've tried high-end formulas. I've tried other independent brand formulas. This is the moment. Okay, I just want to tell you that. And this is not normally a bronzer shade I would go for. This is the lightest shade, Sunkissed, and it just looks so beautiful on the skin. I do have a powder bronzer on top of it, kind of doing some layering because I'm doing a little more intense of a look. So I feel like I needed to amp up some other parts of my face in order to like balance that out because I do have a bit of a plan, if you can imagine. So here is the palette. Now, I don't know if I could really call it an eyeshadow palette. All but 2 shades in here are technically pressed pigments, but like look, isn't it so adorable? At the end of the day, this is a rainbow palette. If you are watching my Critical Sass series, that's probably what I would have said about it. One of the privileges that comes with being someone who is a content creator that receives PR, sometimes you get to try things that you never would have bought or tried. And this is definitely one of those situations. Even though I have been liking Trixie Cosmetics a little bit more, this eyeshadow palette, like if I was left to buy something, would not have really caught my eye. If you are new here, I tend to really like do much more like neutral basic beauty looks. That's kind of my MO. That's what I like to do. So this palette wouldn't really sing to me. A former version of myself would have really loved the concept of this palette. But there's a lot to work with here. I'll put swatches up on screen. I haven't touched any of these yet. And this is also my first time playing with Trixie's powder formulas. So this will all be new to me. I think what I'm going to do is like, because of the blush, which we'll talk about in a second, I think what we need to do is really, we're going to do some reds. I think I'm going to try to incorporate as many of the colors as I can to represent all of the Teletubbies, which I think would be fun. That's not usually my thing, but we'll see what we can do. But I think we're going to focus on Poe. Oh my God, but it's so cute. There's been a couple of times I received PR and I've kept the PR because it like tickled me. And the last time that happened was when I bullied Hip Dot into sending me their Evanescence palette. it. And then Hip Dot closed down, but I have the Evanescence palette, but it's also a color story I wouldn't really use. This is one of those moments where I'm like, oh, I really love this. I love the concept of this. I love everything about it. But we'll see. You know, I might change my mind, but like something really tickles me about all of this. So I just think it's so cute. This is like a cute collab. Anyway, and I normally, like, again, I wouldn't have bought this. Experiencing it is kind of fun. Like, I will say that, like, the experience of it is kind of fun. So I think what we'll do to start, we'll start with Custard Chase. Oh, also, I know I said that these were pressed pigments. There's been so many conversations we've had about pressed pigments and the cosmetic industry in the United States, specifically when it comes to pressed pigments. But like, I feel safe putting them on my eye, but you know, there might be some ingredients in there for you to be aware of. But that's not like me fear mongering. A lot of eyeshadow palettes or things that we view as eyeshadow palettes are like also eyeshadow palette pressed pigment palettes. A lot of the ones that have more colorful shadows in them, those tend to be pressed pigments. It depends on the formula though. But the only two like technical eyeshadow shades are the shade Playtime and Wake Up Time, and those are the two center shades on top. Like I said, I just want to see how pigmented everything is, and I'm going to use the purple blending brush. I use this type of brush a lot, like the shape of brush a lot. I think most people would. I just got red. I got red for filth in a TikTok that I posted recently that like someone, well, not TikTok, well, I think it was on YouTube, but I post my content everywhere. They read me for filth for not taking the film off. So this one's for you, subscriber. Peel is for you, because I'm going to use this mirror. Whoa. Yeah, I never take those off. I very rarely am actually using like the palette mirror, but I've already primed my eyes with the NARS Smudge Proof eyeshadow base, and then I set it with just a translucent setting powder. So I'm not getting a lot of pigment on that one so far. If you're new here, hi, welcome. I've already welcomed you like 7 times. There are a couple of things to know about my eyeshadow preferences as I talk about this palette, and I think that's important for you to know. My favorite type of formulas are the type of formulas that I can blend and add seamlessly to my eye, where I get enough pigment but not too much pigment where it's like hard to blend. There are like 2 main types of eyeshadow formulas I found. The types that like to be packed and then blended, and then ones that can be like built beautifully. Or there's just like bad eyeshadow formulas where like they never build or don't want to blend. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that feels like a luxurious formula that I can have a lot of control over. Based on this peachy shade, I'm thinking I need to reassess how I might be applying these. However, I don't really want to pack this shade on my eyes. I'm going to switch to a natural hairbrush. So we'll see if that picks up any more, because sometimes you can have success just by switching the type of brush or the brush density. I think that the shade might just be a little bit close to my skin color and I'm not seeing it. It's like, it looks a little peachy in the pan, but when it picks up, and it is picking up on this brush, it's like a little harder to see on the purple, but this brush is also dirty, but I'll show you. That is picking up, but there obviously I've used this brush for other colors. So I'm actually just kind of like going over the pressed powder. You can tell there is pigment. If you look, there's like more coverage on this eye than there is on this side, because I just use a translucent powder. So it is picking up, it is applying. I just think I was expecting it to maybe show up a little bit more on my eye, which I don't know why. Sometimes a shade like that doesn't stay true to pan and it shows up much peachier and oranger on the eyes. And that has like, that's kind of often my experience with these kind of peachy colors. Good to know. There is pigment there. I'm going to play with the shade Poe, which is the red shade. I'm just going to garage door it with that and see where that takes me, because I assume it's a very similar red. The blush. Yeah, that kind of looks, it looks similar enough. I think I'm onto something. So I'm going to use the packing brush. If I were applying this not on camera and not trying to like be as prepared as I can, I would do my eyes first just to control, just in case there's fallout. It's kind of showing up, and this is definitely an experience I have often whenever I'm using colorful eyeshadows, is that the fairness of my skin, which is very fair, will sometimes make things look a little neon. So it is showing up. It's not totally opaque with the packing brush, but it's feeling very easy to control. I'm gonna wing it out just like a little bit, because I'm gonna want my blush to like blend right into it. I want it to somewhere to go, but I don't really want the wing to stay defined, if that makes sense. Like, I'm gonna want the blush to like blend it out. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to the blending brush and I'm gonna kind of just like blend out the edges a little bit. This is looking more orange on my skin. Like, it's kind of looking more like a neon orange pink coral. It's actually, I think it looks more coral on my skin than like a super pigmented red. Again, in case you're new here, my skin likes to turn everything orange. It loves orange. I'm gonna try to pack a little more color on. The blending worked very well. It did blend. So far, so good. One thing that I've always thought about Trixie's eyeshadow palette appearance, I still think this now having seen 2 of them IRL, is that they just kind of look a little flat and not very texturally interesting. There are 2 shades in here that I actually think have some intrigue, like that shade right there, the shade Twinkly and the shade Gingerberry. I think we might be mostly matte on this one. Hi, Julia. Hi, mostly matte. There's something about my finger keeps like resting on like the pointy part on the bottom of this brush. I do want to do some blush draping with the blush shade. If I wasn't going to do that, I would probably not do my eyes both the same. That's what that shade looks like. I think we could do like, kind of blending the yellow shade, the LAWLESS shade, like kind of like right here and right in like the socket of my eyebrow and kind of like blend that up and out. I think that would be pretty. Let's see if it happens. I'm using my Sigma switch to switch between the colors so I can keep using the same brushes. I'm gonna start with the blending brush. We'll see if that picks up enough pigment to like make it work. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. It's kind of giving like a Bjorkian eye shape. There's something about yellows, and this like kind of always happens with like any matte yellow I've used. It applies really yellow and then it like, I don't know if it like oxidizes or something else happens where it like darkens it and it's not like the same color yellow. Although this is still staying pretty yellow. I would say of the yellows I've used, this one's pretty pigmented and holding its own and blending out quite well. The unfortunate part about the Teletubbies is that they're complementary colors. And that's not unfortunate because they don't go together, but green and red are complementary colors. And so basically if you were looking at the color wheel, colors will cancel each other out. This red and green might not be exactly on the opposite sides of the color wheel. If you try to blend them onto each other, they're going to like make gray. That's just like naturally what they're gonna do. And the only reason I'm pointing that out is just sometimes color theory, you can throw it out the window and it's not important, but sometimes color theory is just important when you're like considering constructing a look. And that just might be something to consider. Like if you want to put both of them on your eyes, you might not want to blend them. You might want to place them very thoughtfully. That's the only reason I wanted to point that out. I am on the lower lash line. It's interesting that we have 2 matte purples. I'm going to go into the shade AO, which is the darker. I'm going to take the liner brush. I'm going to smudge that right under the lash line. I don't really know where I want to go from here. I think I might, okay, I'm going to clean off the liner brush. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of Giggleberry. Did I say Gingerberry? Giggleberry. Smoke it along the lash line on my lids. Oh, this shade's really pretty. Like I said, I haven't really swatched these shades. This is duochrome-y. Okay, Miss Trixie, come through with the duochrome. I don't know, shimmers as a liner is a little bit hard to do. It's kind of wanting to be pressed as opposed to like blend it. It's kind of blending away. Oh no, now I want to swatch the shade and just kind of like look at it. Yeah, there's a little bit of like blue, purple in the red. Very pretty. Okay, I kind of like that. It's kind of subtle, especially with like all of the color happening on my face right now. I'm gonna do this to the other eye and then I will come back and I will see where I want to like tinker it from there. I think I want to use Twinkly as an inner corner highlight. I think it'll be bright enough, but also have enough like color pigment to it to like actually pop against these colors. Oh yes. I do want to try to figure out how to like get a green in there. I don't know. I just feel like it would be a shame if I didn't represent all of them. And we cannot leave Dipsy out of this. We cannot leave Dipsy out of it. We cannot leave them out of it. Come on, non-binary royalty, non-binary, the non-binary cheese, the non-binary. Come on, Teletubby. Teleport us to Mars. Sammy Brown. I just realized I didn't add my Giggleberry liner to this eye. I need to switch mirrors because the caffeine kicked in and my hands are shaky. Oh, I love that Giggleberry shade, especially on top of this. I know it's like hard to tell what I've done. Oh my god. Sometimes I have ideas. Okay, you gotta hear me out. What if I like bridged the gap? Like right across the bridge of my nose with some green, like connect yellow to yellow over my nose, almost like I'm wearing like glasses. Or we could do a little bit of green. We can kind of like bring the shape a little bit back down, but I don't want to blend it into the red. So I'm not really sure that that's what I want to do. But also I'm not really sure that I'm not really sure what I want. I need Alanis Morissette to tell me what I really want. I'm gonna switch to a different brand of brush, and I'm gonna use this little detailed brush here. I think what I'm gonna do, well, no, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it confidently, as I'm gonna go into Windmill Whirl and go from like the purple to the center of my eye with that green teal color as like a lower liner shade. Who's a regular Victoria? Who's gooped and gagged? I'm gonna put on some mascara and then we're gonna bring in some drama with the blush, okay? There are false lashes in this collection. I'm not really a false lash girly, so I might find the false lashes a new home. I'm not that attached to them, but they are very cute. They're in a cute packaging. There's a vacuum situation. Also, I don't have any lash glue. I can't even pretend. Well, now we're gonna move on to the blush. Here it is. It's in the shade Tinky Winky's Purse. Isn't that so cute? Ugh. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I have another blush in this formula. I have the shade Cult Classic, which if you love brown blush, so I am familiar with the pigmentation level of these. So I am kind of nervous, but this blush brush actually looks very similar to my favorite blush brush. The purple one is from Sonia G, but we're gonna blush drape. So I'm gonna really concentrate back here and blend it down my cheek. And I want it to go also where the highlight will go. The brush is very soft. Give it twirl, give it swirl, give it swirl. The crossover you didn't know you needed. The crossover only some of you will get. I might take the eyeshadow and blend it all the way up into the blush. Interesting. This is like, it's not a coral because it's looking a little bit blue around the edges. This must be like a blue-based red color. Very cool because the red on my eye is definitely more orangey. So they're not even really the same red at all. Fierce, diva, mama. I don't know who I'm turning into. It's a Teletubbies collab. Although they know what they were getting into. Those girls, queens. They knew what they were getting into with this collection. They signed on. Okay, so here's the thing about this blush. I wasn't sure that I was gonna like it because I tend to not really go big and bold with my blush, which is still true. Like, it's still not gonna be my preferred blush application. However, the undertone of this is like not what I was expecting at all. I find that most reds are a little more warmer whenever it comes to blush. I'm going in much gentler on this side for some reason. I need to like build it up. Blending quite well. I like this blush formula. The one thing I will say, Trixie Cosmetics, if you're watching, it is a little bit confusing to know if blushes are ever going to come back in stock, what blushes are like not permanent. Let a queen know. Oh, I am going to take my foundation brush. I feel like I went a little bit hotter, a little bit heavier than I wanted to. So I'm just going to pat. I'll just use the blush and I'm going to try to like connect the red in my eye to the blush a little bit bolder to make it like a little more clear that like I was intending for this connection. Playing with makeup is so fun. Isn't makeup so fun? Clap if makeup is fun. You know who's afraid of Adele? Beyonce. I can't in good conscience continue without a highlighter. Not a highlighter in this collection. And the one I tried from Trixie was the shade Cold Shoulder, and I didn't really like it. So we'll go into something else. I'm gonna put on the high points of my cheek and kind of blend it into the blush draping we have going on. I'm gonna use the shade Solaris from Ritual Defy, which I got in a little sample. I don't remember when I got this sample. They sent it to me. I don't know. They sent me a sample of it. Okay, I'm just gonna tap that in. It is a cream, but I think it will add the right shine. It has the right shift. It's like warm, but not so warm that I think it will distract and be weird on top of like the blue. Important stuff is happening on my face. Very important. It's time to hop on a Zoom with my boss. It's not. It's the weekend as I film this. Wouldn't that be crazy? Imagine I'm your employee and you're like, we have a very important Zoom call. You're firing me. I have so many mirrors in front of me. I can't even emphasize how many mirrors and I'm still using the monitor. That's just very me. It's just like one of my quirks. It's just like what I do as a content creator. Okay, so we have one last step. The gloss. The Tubby Custard gloss. So this has been a first impressions up until this point, obviously, because I told you I hadn't touched any of this, but that's a lie when it comes to this. So this is the Tubby Custard gloss. Okay, this is actually my first time trying one of their glosses, but I have already put this on my lips. I'm gonna line my lips with the Trixie liner in the shade Eden, which I did receive in PR. The one thing with Trixie Cosmetics is I have some things I bought and I have some things in PR, and it's like remembering what's what, but I got this in PR. So basically the most of the face is PR when it comes to the Trixie Cosmetics. Right now, I'm very in my pink era. Like, I love pink, love pink, love pink, love pink. It's funny because one of my pieces of merch says, I don't wear pink, but it's a pink shirt. If you were here, you were here. And I still think it's very funny merch, but like I'm back into pink. So whenever I opened the collection, whenever it arrived to my house, I saw this gloss in person and I was like, I need to put that on my face right now. The thing about the gloss though, I think if you were buying the whole entire collection, if you were interested in the entire collection to like wear them all together, I think the gloss is like an outlier because it's like this milky baby pink color and it's in the shade Tubby Custard. I think I said that already. And very weird about scented makeup. I really am. So none of it has been scented up until this point, but oftentimes the lip product is, and I'm like normally okay with that. I hadn't watched like the launch video or anything, so I didn't know anything about this gloss. It smells like bubblegum. Now, if I would have learned that before I got this product, I would have been like, ew, I hate that. I don't even want to have a bubblegum gloss. I was wrong. I actually love bubblegum scented gloss. It's very delightful. It's like evocative. Like it smells like bubblegum. It smells like my mouth is actually watering because it's like, that's bubblegum. This Trixie gloss is a little bit stringy and that's just something to know, but it is really thin and it's not like I find that when I put it on my lips that it's like sticky. So that is a really thin layer of it applied. Before I started speaking, I did put my finger in my mouth and like pulled it through because when I was speaking, it was very stringy on the lips. It doesn't seem to want to be like stringy on the other one. I'm going to apply another layer. I will say any kind of lip gloss with a milky finish, I just find that they're not super flattering on the lips. If you have lines that you are normally trying to like conceal as much as you can on your lips, I think a milky gloss is just like not going to be your thing to begin with. But I'm going to apply another layer just to see what we can do. Okay, it's stringy. I know that weirds people out. Definitely the thinner layer of this, the better. A couple of things. I don't actually normally love pigmented lip glosses, so that's not normally my thing. And I kind of like this milky cloudy effect. I do think it's like pretty bitchin', but I definitely think that this lip gloss formula and this color is like not gonna fly for a lot of people. I don't think this is the thing that I would have bought, but I kind of really like it. Like I kind of really like the effect on my lips. Yeah, oh my god, full face. Because it's kind of reading more like a nude on me, but that's just like my coloring. I think this color would turn off a lot of people. Let me go back through everything and I will tell you whether or not it was more exciting as the thing to experience as PR or something that I think could be useful. Here's the thing about the brush set. It's very cute and I love the concept of it. Of course, a blending brush is always going to be useful. I feel like I can never have enough blending brushes in my makeup collection. I don't use a lot of packing brushes or liner brushes like this, but I think that they were really effective with the eyeshadow palette. And then this blush brush was actually really great. And what's going to be nice about it is like in my makeup collection, I don't have any other red brushes. So if I'm ever looking for a powder blush brush, I will know exactly where this is and I will be able to easily snag it out of my makeup collection. I don't know that this 4-pack of eyeshadow brushes would be useful to everyone, but they are very cute. I would say that the brushes would be a useful thing for a collector of Teletubbies things. Like if you're a collector, I think you would both get use out of these and also really enjoy the cuteness factor of them. And it would probably be better for someone who's like a fan of the Teletubbies or nostalgic for the Teletubbies and are looking for something that they could also use. I think that's the purpose they serve. They all worked very well. I think that this blush brush was really great and I can definitely see myself using it in the future. I'll definitely be using the blending brush. I will keep all 4 of them around because they're kind of a set and I do end up reaching for packing brushes every now and then, but it's not something I use very often. It's just like in the way that I apply my eyeshadow usually, but it all worked very well. So I can't complain about it. But it's not like a pointless thing to add to the collection, but like I would say if you were looking for brushes that this set would be where I would send you to first. But I also have another Trixie Cosmetics brush that I purchased. They are pretty great synthetic brushes so far in my experience. I've been enjoying using them. The eyeshadow palette, this is stinking cute. And I was unsure about how I would feel about Trixie's eyeshadow formula, but I actually quite liked it. I do think that the shade Playtime and the shade up here would be the least exciting formulas for me. I found the mattes easy to work with. I do find this color story a little bit difficult for me as I have like most of it on my face. Normally I am doing like beauty looks. I feel like this is definitely like something really out of my comfort zone and that I like really pulled together to try to get as much of this on my face as I can. But I didn't find like the colors I feel like so far have shown up the way that they were supposed to show up on my eyes. So I can't complain about that. The red is a little bit more of a coral on me. I need to do some more looks where I'm not just like you know, doing all of this with it. I definitely think I could do that. There is like these kind of nudes holding it down. However, there's not like dark nudes for someone who might have a deeper complexion than me that would want to play with this. This is definitely a palette much more designed for someone who is much more into color. I feel like a lot of my audience will either really love this or really hate it, but I didn't have any issues working with them. Were they my favorite matte formula? No. Were they my favorite colorful matte formula? Definitely no. But I didn't hate it. Like, I was able to make them work. It wasn't like a struggle. It just was like, oh, I've definitely used eyeshadows I like better than these ones, but I actually quite like this color. One thing that I would love to see the brand work on is just like textures in their eyeshadow palette. Like, that's really pretty. It definitely worked as like the inner corner highlight shade. I think for this brand, if it wants to continue like doing eyeshadows, I think they need some more variations in their like satin to shimmer to super shimmer formula. Actually, their highlighter and cold shoulder was a really great texture and I liked wearing it as an eyeshadow. I would love to see like formulas like that in the eyeshadow palettes. Just add some intrigue. I think Trixie's brand, so far in my experience of like trying a lot of it, like I think they do cheek products really well. And I think they do lip products really well. This isn't my favorite lip gloss formula. We'll talk about it in a second, but there's a lot of heart put into it. But like so far, you know, like I feel like their eyeshadow palettes struggle to excite me most of the time. And while this is very cute and fun to have in my hands, and the Teletubbies are embossed on there, they're like raised up. There's like holographic printed. It's so pretty. It's so cute. It's so fun. Other than that, like if you had this color story without the Teletubby branding, I wouldn't have looked twice at it. So, and that's how I feel about the color story. But like everything else I said is also true. Workable, looks great, but I like more impact when it comes to shimmers, and I just haven't seen Trixie provide that other than in their liquid topper formula. I love that. The blush. Okay, so I do already enjoy this blush formula. It is a pigmented blush formula. This isn't like something I'm super unfamiliar with. I was surprised by the undertone of this. As I was blending it out, I was like, oh, I think if I go in with a light hand, I would really like this. Like I wasn't, so whenever I got notified that I was getting PR and then I saw the collection, I was like, oh, that blush is getting passed on immediately. But now that I have it on my face, I'm like, is it? I don't know. I've been more into color recently, and I think if I did like a nude cool toned look and I had this on the cheek, just like a pop, and like not blush draping, but just like a little bit right here, I think that'd be like so. I'm very into this. I think it would work for a lot of skin depths, skin tones. It's kind of my favorite part of like everything happening up here. I like love the blush. And then when it comes to the lip gloss, I would love to try another lip gloss from Trixie. Someone told me there was a taupe one at one point, and I would have loved to have tried that, but I didn't. And it doesn't seem to be like something that they still make. I really enjoyed the lip liner formula. I really like both lipstick formulas in the bullets that the brand has. I haven't tried their liquid lipsticks, but I would love to try just like a gloss with some sparkle in it, like some shimmer particles in it that's like mostly clear. I think that would look and work better, but it is a stringy formula. So I have found historically like the kind of lip gloss, the formulas I like something a little bit thicker, stays glossy. This is really thin and it feels like it's just kind of like setting into my lips pretty quickly, but I do like the color and I like the effect of it. And it's probably the thing I will use ultimately, other than some of the brushes, the most from this collection. However, I think this collection is like so cute. It's so cute. I love it. Like I love the branding. Like it's so cute. It's so cute. And if you are someone that this is like, this hits the nostalgia spot for you, I think all of these products work really well. Like you will enjoy using them as well as looking at them. And I think that's great. I think ultimately when we're looking at collabs like this, that's what you want. You want to have a collab that like works and is cute and like meets the mark whenever you're talking about like hitting all of the points of nostalgia. Now, again, I wasn't a Teletubby viewer, but like most of the Teletubbies are on all of the products. They all seem represented. The little vacuum is represented. I kind of remember people talking about Tubby Custard, and then also like the purse name. Like I don't know. I think they did a really good job. I would have loved to see purse, and I have purse. The purse is back here. It's real small. So I would have loved to see like maybe the logo on the purse. Oh, that's so cute. And I liked playing with it. This was very fun. Again, this is not my normal thing, but I just was like, what am I supposed to do with this collab? What am I, hautemesstom, supposed to do with this collab? And it turns out this is, I think, exactly what I needed to do. This was still a first impressions. I'm not intending on following back in a detailed review. Like, you'll probably like see some of this stuff throughout my other content, and I will definitely like reflect on it, but I don't even see a world where I like really reach for this palette again. I might reach for it a couple more times to get my head around it a little bit more, but in a very real way, like this is probably like the only time you're gonna like really see that. The blush you might see a little bit more, and the gloss you'll probably see more, and the brushes you'll see me using occasionally. But yeah, so like this was just literally for fun, not to tempt you, but just to kind of like tell you about it a little bit, but also just kind of like have fun doing a makeup look I wouldn't normally do. And I feel like I achieved all of those things. So if you're not yet subscribed and you want to help me to get to 10,000 and you want really great high quality content in your feed that doesn't revolve around newness all of the time, I would love to have you subscribe. I'm on Patreon and I have channel memberships. You can join me over there. I do one additional video every month. It's normally like a little more personal. It's a little more hangy outy. If you don't want to support me on Patreon or channel memberships, babe, I'm just so happy that you are here. Thank you for hanging out with me. Sharing my content right now while I'm trying to get to 10K is like gonna be the best way to support me. I will have a pinned comment. The first link in the pinned comment will to be donating to Sisters Pittsburgh. Sisters Pittsburgh is a Black trans-led organization here in Pittsburgh that helps trans people find the things that they need. It's a great resource for trans people in Pittsburgh, specifically people of color. I'll do like an official fundraiser a little bit later in the month, but if you want to donate before that official fundraiser, I would love for you to do that. And we have a lot of exciting things. It's Pride Month. It's Pride Month, and I'm happy that we are here together. It is a weird year for queer people. It's probably not a great year for queer people, kind of internationally, specifically in the United States, but also it seems like in the UK, things are looking not great. Here's the thing. We're here. We'll always be here. And the Teletubbies support us. And if you're not on the side of Miss Rachel and the Teletubbies, you're doing things wrong. I'm going to tell you that much. You're doing things very wrong. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the video. Thank you, Trixie Cosmetics, for sending this my way. It was so cute. It was so fun. And remember to follow your host. And you'll find me, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth. The one tit is out. Go forth, tits out. Period.